But now we're heading over to Raymond J. Smith's launch for his album Lament for 1916.
6 counties are in bondage by the forces of the crown. 1,000 years of murder, but they could not keep.
Well, tonight I'm launching my album. It's called Lament for 1916. This is an album I've been working on for the past 2 years. The content of the album are newly composed ballads, traditional Irish music, and the main feature of the album is a suite of music with a duration of 8 minutes. It totally encapsulates the events of 1916, and the music is very emotional. It creates a scene from people rising at early hours of dawn, marching to O'Connell Street, the rebellion, and right down to the execution at the end of it. So it's a very passionate piece of music.
Empire lies in ruins, she no longer rules the waves. The spoils of her conquest still how proudly she displays.
Raymond was the first person that brought music into my life. I met him when I was 16, and he played traditional Irish music on his accordion. We got married a few years later, and he opened his own school of music. For 23 years we had a school of music, and he had an orchestra, he had a band which toured America, Canada, you name it. I've had a very interesting life with Raymond through music, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. He then had a record company, and by default I became the sales director of that and travelled every inch and borean of Ireland distributing his music. And then he took on to songwriting, and when I listen when Ray's songwriting isn't pretty, but the finished product is absolutely magnificent. He's just a terrific guy, and his songwriting is like poetry. This particular album is like putting history to music, and it's just been great pleasure for me to be involved in helping him with it. I enjoyed every bit of it, and I'm looking forward to what else he brings to the table, because there's no ending with Raymond Smith. He keeps going and going and going.
Well, I mean, Ray has obviously shrewdly got this out in time, and there's obviously going to be a plethora of stuff about 1916, but I think there's some original music on this which are top class. I'm not a great fan of the whole 1916 cult, which will be obvious from the contribution I'm making. But I have to say that his original compositions are excellent, top class, and could be good background music to some of the many documentaries and fictionalised documentaries that will be done over the next year. So in that sense, I think it's an important contribution.
How would you describe Raymond?
Raymond is an ebullient, dynamic, get things done person. He has serious talent, which is unusual for somebody, but he also has that ability to get things done. Again, I intend to refer to the fact that he often is wearing sports gear, and I don't think he needs the Nike slogan, just do it, in order to do it. He's well able to do it and get things done. As a writer who's trying to get my own stuff done, sometimes I envy that aspect of him, that he just drives through on it. I have to model myself a bit on him in that regard myself. So a very good family man, and also very dedicated to his writing craft, but also knows it's a show business, it's a music business, and he looks after that aspect as well, and I admire him for that. Of course, he's from Athlone as well, which I am, so there's a bit of the old town, the Garrison town boys sticking together. And we're a bit of both involved, have been involved with the Eurovision, and that is really was what reunited us really in so many ways. So the Eurovision is a very, very important part of the whole story of Ray's music, and also my journalism. And the first novel I'm writing is a novel based around the Eurovision Song Contest.
I know Ray since about the mid-1990s, where we used to meet regularly at song festivals, particularly in the likes of Cavan and Dunleary, and Ray had a great deal of success at those contests, and then when he progressed to the National Song Contest as well, he had a degree of success there as well. So it was a particular delight for me to be there to support him when he eventually did get to represent Ireland at the Eurovision in the year 2000 with Millennium of Love. So it was a bit of a journey for us, and I was delighted to be there to support him with that. He's a wonderful composer. I love all his songs, and this is, of course, is a very, very important commemoration of the centenary of 1916. It's an extremely important date and a significant event in Irish history, and it's beautiful that it's being commemorated in this way.
To have an event like this, particularly with the launch of this album and the 1916 celebrations, us being on O'Connell Street, Flanagan's Restaurant, it's the build-up to a fantastic celebration year next year, and we're delighted to be part of this with Raymond.
Heroes came from far and near to celebrate.
This album, it creates kind of a history. It kind of is. It delves into the feelings of people that lost loved ones. It kind of captures what people want, a united Ireland down the line, and it's just beautiful words. His instrumental pieces are just phenomenal. It's just beautiful music to listen to, and I think he's captured the true spirit of what this album is meant to capture, which is Lament for 1916. And I think he's done a wonderful job in the production, the arrangements, everything. I think he did a great job on this. I'm very, very proud of it. I can't wait to get selling it.
Jail to all who died for Ireland. You're welcome to the party.
Well, I do, and I think it's hugely important that artists particularly celebrate it, as well as been other angles, because a lot of the people that were involved in 1916 in their own distinctive way were artists. So I think it's hugely important, and I think that it's great that Raymond is in there, and because his contribution to music industry goes back a long way. He has represented it at national level, and he's represented it in the Eurovision, and I think it's fantastic to think that Raymond is now part of the celebration of 1916, which is going to be a huge event, and it's wonderful to see him and this album as part of that.
And Ireland long a province be, a nation once again.
We wish Raymond all the very best with his new album.